Hi guys. Today I'm doing chapter 6 in the dummies book, which is choose your own adventure. It says imagine you're climbing a tree. If you climb upon one branch, you'll see certain things such as a bird's nest or balloon that got stuck up there during your birthday party. If you climb different branch, you might see other things like the neighbor's garage. In JavaScript, the technique of using if, else, or switch statement to choose between two more paths is called branching. In this chapter, we use branching to write a choose your own adventure game that asks for user input at key moments to change the story. Okay, so I think this is a story. You are the captain of a spaceship named the Flying Hippo. One day you're working on turning up your ship's engines when you get an urgent message from your space phone. Captain, one of your Mars robots is sick. We need you to go to Mars immediately and retrieve it so that we can fix it and download the results of its important experiments. You remember that you're supposed to go to a meeting of the Space Scouts tonight and you're really looking forward to it. But on the other hand, the other Space Scout would understand that this mission is very important. What would you do? Go to Mars or stay home? Planning the story. Any good story needs a plot. The plot is the outline of events that happen over the course of the story. When writing a story where the user input influences the plot, the writer needs to pay close attention to managing different plot lines. Each plot line has the same beginning, but the middle and ending are different based on input from the user. Creating a flowchart. So now a flowchart is used to plan for all the possibilities and visualizing what would happen. This is more like a pseudocode. A story begins. Does it start? If it doesn't start, no. If it doesn't, if it's a no, then it goes back again to story begins until the story begins. If it's a yes, you are asked to go to Mars. Do you go? If you don't go, that's the end. Yes, if you go to Mars, yes, there's trouble. Keep going. No, you decide to go home. Then go back. It goes back to the end. Then, if you keep going, if it's a yes, you keep going. Then you made it. Okay, so now we writing the story. Our story takes place from a spaceship in the not too distant future. You are the captain of a ship and your mission is to fly to Mars to pick up an old robot that has stopped functioning so that it and its valuable experiment can be returned to Earth and studied. The launch of the ship goes perfectly, but 1 week into the 260-day voyage, you discover that your cat has stowed away on your ship. Unless something changes, you might not have enough food for both of you. You need to decide whether you turn your ship around or you keep going to Mars and hope for the best. If you turn the ship around, the ship ends with the cat being returned to Earth and your boss yelling at you because you don't have the Mars robot. If you continue towards Mars, you get very nervous about your food situation, but you feed the cat half of your meals each day because you're a good person. You reach Mars and discover that the last person to visit the robot Mars left a large cooler full of delicious sandwiches. You pack them into the spaceship along with the robot and head home, where you are greeted as a hero. Now we're playing the game. Um, now we have to go to the fiddle and copy it. I wanna try write the code using the the code here. The HTML and CSS for Machine Rescue are finished in the starter program. Let's take a look at them now before we move on to finishing the JavaScript. Okay. The HTML is made up of two parts separated by HTML comments. The first part of the HTML creates the top section where the story will be displayed and bottom section where questions and answers will be displayed. So This is a story. This is the footer. The question, that's when they start answering the question. And this is your answer. And this is your input. Now, okay, now this is the question where you're asked if you're going to Mars. Let's copy this. I think I'll just put it here. Everything that you use in the result pane when you program first starts in the results of these lines of HTML. The top dark green. Okay. Turning off elements, display none, because we only want to show the input field and bottom when we are asking questions. We have hidden the user input field and button using CSS. Margin 0px body front family. Okay. Okay, this goes like this. So this is a story. It's gonna be yellow. The footer, the position of the footer, the bottom is 0 and the height is 20%. And the question, the width is 100%, the padding is 10 pixels, the background color and the color. Okay, let's do this. Oh. Okay. If you look again at the HTML, you'll see that the input field and the bottom are inside a div element and an ID of answer. To see the styles applied to this div element, find the style rules with the ID selector answer in the CSS pane. See that's the answer. The answer is 10 pixels and the padding, the width is 100%, and this is the background color. This is the color, the text aligned is center, and the display is none. Okay, the first 5 properties in the style rule set the background color, the padding, the text alignment, and the element of the element. The last one, however, sets the display property as none. When display property is set to none, it turns off the display of the element. In other words, the element doesn't display. Often programmers will use display none in order to hide elements that they want to hide or show JavaScript. When you want to display an element that's been hidden with CSS, you can use JavaScript to change the value of the display property of its visible values like this. Document.get element by id answer dot style dot display block. Okay. Looking at all, not looking at the story parts. Underneath the basic HTML that creates the three sections of the machine rescue program, you'll see several more div elements. Each of those elements text may have become part of the story based on the choices that you make within the program. Story part, answer. Okay, this is the story. You remember that you. Okay, now let's try copying this first and see. Okay. Each of the parts of the story has a class attribute to set story parts and a unique ID attribute. The same class attribute value can be applied to multiple elements. The machine rescue in JavaScript. The story document, story, the footer, side footer, and then the question is, okay, let's see everything else. Get answer gets an answer from the text field and pushes it into the answers array. You see, make an empty array called answers. Okay. Listen for clicks and on the submit button and call the get answer function. Okay. The first section of the code defines some global variables that we need to use throughout the rest of the program. The ones already finished for you are variables create references to HTML elements. You use these variables as shortcuts to save you from having to type document.get element by ID over and over. When you use the following statement, it makes it possible for you to use my element in place of, oh, I should have known. Let my element equals document.get element by ID my element, creating an empty array. Now this is an array of answers where our answers will be stored. Okay. Creating an event listener. The next to-do item in the JavaScript pane says to listen for clicks and submit button. The word listen is a clue for how to write this code. Can you guess what JavaScript method? Obviously, it's get add event listener. Now we calling the the ask question function. Now this is the function that is gonna ask our question. Make single parameter the question number. The question number is the number of the question to ask the user. We'll call the first question #0. To call the function, ask the first question type this answer ask question 0. Now, the first function we'll work on is the one that prompts users to answer questions, ask questions function. To complete the function, the ask question function allow the steps. Change the value of the display property of the answer so that the input field and bottom appear using this code. Okay. Okay. I switch question number case 0. So now if the question if are you ready to play? So if they choose the question 0, now they will ask, are you ready to play? If you choose 1, it's going to be go to Mars or stay home. If you choose 2, risk it or go home. If you choose 3, then it breaks. Okay. Now, okay. Writing continue story. The continue story function uses if-else statements to determine whether the user entered a valid value and then to show the correct part of the story based on the input. So answer number, insert statements. Okay. Now if the case is 0, then it's yes. The line is saying that if the first element in the array which responds to the first question is set to yes, run to the following statements. Remember that the getAnswer function, we converted the user's input to uppercase before pushing it to the array. So the user can enter yes, yes, or yes. Even the yes statement will be true. Okay. So now it's not case sensitive. If the statement calls ask question function and tells it to ask question number 1, this causes the ask question function to ask go to Mars or stay home. If the user didn't answer yes, the else clause will run, but the here we put another if statement inside the else clause so that we can test for a value of no. So now we have to have answer number 2. Case 1, answer number 1, go to Mars. If the inner now we get the answer and then it asks question 2, it depends on the answer. So every answer we give depends every answer we get depends on the answer we gave in the beginning. So I just wanna code the story to see where I ended. Mm, so mine is starting it. Let me just remove this because now I don't understand. Oh no, here. I think the CSS is fine. Okay. Um, so now these are the questions. Are you ready to play? Let me see how it's gonna go now. Go to Mars or stay home. I wanna go to Mars. And it says go. Mars. It's not going past this. Okay, let me say Earth. Let me start afresh. Okay, let me start afresh again. Are you ready to play? Yes. Yes. Go to Mars or stay home. Go to Mars. Let me say go to Mars. Great choice. Mars is lovely. This time of year. Alright. Now this is the code that we created. But I'm not really happy with the background colors. Mm, okay, this one is too much as well. But then I've used, this one is not visible. Why is it even yellow? Yeah, it's much better. Okay, I'll change the other things on my own, but then this is the Mars game.